Hey everyone, so I showed you this aquarium not too long ago, a few months or so. Look at this. It's only been about 3 months. If you guys remember, I killed back this pothos vine to just about nothing. It grows so fast. It usually becomes overcrowded around a year, and that is when we have to trim it back because it overcrowds the water, the airspace, all of that, and the Pleco can barely even get around in there. See the Plecos right here? That guy's getting big. Look at that. Usually hides in the cave right there. It's about maybe 81 degrees in there now. Perfect for a Pleco. Well, tomorrow I'm going to vacuum the gravel once again. You see there's a good silt starting to build up in there. Decomposing plant material, decomposing poop. Some people think it's gross when you see a whole bunch of silt in an aquarium. But just think about it as a pond. The animal actually probably likes it better than the gravel. It's more natural. It's not poop anymore. It has decomposed, and it's the same stuff you're walking in at the bottom of a lake or a pond. It's actually healthy for the aquarium, better for the plants. Yep, that's why I never really focus on doing a great job at it. You actually want to leave a little of that behind because the bacteria can quickly spread back and help the ecosystem in here. So, you see all this algae and stuff up above here? We have grow lights here, and in the past I've intentionally grown algae in that big tank just so I could put Plecos in there to eat it, then take them back out. They used to go in there like once a month just for free food supply. And they also eat this, cucumbers sometimes. So tonight, for the first time, I'm going to try an experiment. I'm not even going to shut the filters off in here. They'll just run under the water overnight and basically do nothing. So right now I'm going to fill the aquarium up to about here. And then I'm going to wait 2 hours for temperature to adjust, fill it up all the way. And by morning, this Pleco will go up here in the platform. It will eat all the algae off the the glass. It'll get up on the platform, eat all that slime, clean up any algae on the plants. And then in the morning, while I'm vacuuming the aquarium, I'll drain it back down to here. And I think the Pleco will leave the whole top of it nice and clean. We'll see how he does. That'll actually, honestly, take a long time to fill up on such a low setting. So I think I can just leave it like this and it'll adjust as it fills up. That little trickle, it'll probably take 2 hours to fill up. And the heater should be able to take care of that for the most part with minimal temperature loss. Are you able to see the heat coming off the heater? It's leaving those wavy ripples in the water. That heater is now running full blast now that the cold water's slowly coming in. Platform has gone underwater for the first time ever. I've never done this idea before. Maybe I did. I think last time I experimented with bringing it up to around here. You see the nibble marks? But this time we're going all the way up. Yeah, we've already dropped 2 degrees in temperature by raising it up. For a Pleco, you don't want it to get below like 68 or 70 because that's an uncomfortable zone for them. You want to keep them in the upper 70s and lower 80s. That's their best spot to be. Although this guy miraculously survived a power outage and the water, I think, got down into the 50s once. That's how I lost my other 2. No, that's wrong. Their heater died, and it went unnoticed for a couple days. This one's heater did not. Yeah, they're tropical animals. They can't survive a power outage if you live up north. So, if you have a power outage, you're going to have to boil up some water on a gas burner and occasionally slowly pour it in here without cracking the glass. You got to pour it away from anything very carefully just to maintain temperature. I had to do that once. But the heater dying, that's a whole different story. You may not notice that. That's why anytime you walk by an aquarium, you got to check those temperature gauges on there. Or this basement here is pretty cold. Right now it's like 60, but sometimes when it's bitterly cold, it can get down into the 40s. So you can easily just put your hand on it and it feels warm. Yeah, this feels warm to the touch, even it being 60-something down here. In recent years, I have become a little lazy. And I started using, those test strips that you dip in water to tell what it is. Never dip them into the aquarium. You always want to take a cup, dip it in the cup and dispose of that water and clean the cup before you use it in the tank again, because there's actually chemicals on that. It makes me cringe when I see people's videos. They just dip it right in there. Well, years ago, I used to use just these, the old-fashioned type with test tubes, and you put little drips into it, stir it up, wait like 5 minutes. Now, certain tests, you still have to do this. There is not those test strips I'm talking about for things like ammonia. There is for copper, there is for pH, there is for nitrate and nitrate, but there's not for ammonia. So occasionally I got to use my ammonia test kit, which is, yeah, it's so old that it has these bottles now, or I lost a box for it. I remember a while back, just to see if it worked. This is an old test kit from the early 90s. No, 1982, early 80s. Still gave the same result, even though it's super expired. Still worked perfectly fine. Now, here's something that people, if you look at my videos like 4 years ago of using these test kits and making videos of it, so many people didn't understand what I was doing. So what I do is, I go ahead and when I'm done with this, I rinse it out in the sink, you know, get rid of anything in it. Now, what people didn't understand was when I put it in the tank, people thought I was rinsing it out in the tank because I scoop, dump it out, scoop, dump it out. That's because I'm getting rid of the tap water or tap water residue, because that could make the result slightly different. You know what I mean? People didn't understand that. They thought I was rinsing the chemicals out in the tank. I was not. I was taking a couple scoops to rinse it out, then you got to go tap, 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 just to get it down to the line perfect on the test tube. I don't know why these days they have these glass round test tubes. They're so easy to knock over, so easy to break. I guess they want you to buy more from them so they make more money. Test kits back in the 90s, my dad had a bunch of these. They had square plastic ones. They didn't tip over easy, they had a good base, and they were plastic. Everything these days is plastic, but they decided to make them glass suddenly? I don't understand. Yeah. Iron is not necessary. It would be where I live, but this is my mother's basement, and this is city water. We have tons of iron out in the country, but not here with the city water. So the only one I'm going to do other than the test strip is ammonia. I want to know what it is. I haven't done that in like 6 months on this tank. It's overdue. I highly doubt there's any ammonia in there. Those plants would suck that up like crazy. That's what they're going to feed on. Also, the only thing that might get high in here is nitrate, which is kind of caused by the plants. It's okay, you want a little bit of it, but high can actually be harmful to the fish. Periodic water changes do that pretty good. Now here in the city, you never want to fill a tank up completely with water, even if it's the right temperature or whatever, even if you adjusted the fish, because there's actually chlorine in city water. Not enough of it where it would hurt them by doing like 30% water changes here and there. You know, it evaporates pretty fast, especially with the agitation of the filter in this. I've never had a problem doing that for decades. It's so minimal, it won't affect the fish if you're just adding small portions here or there. But the main rule is, if you fill up a brand new tank, give it 24 hours, the chlorine will completely evaporate. Alright, we're still in the process of filling. Now we have dropped down to about 71. You see the color's about to change over. I'm going to shut this thing off once we hit 70, come back down in like 2 hours or even 1 hour, fill it up the rest of the way. The heater in here will catch up fast. Now, what I'm doing here is actually a no-no with the aquarium. Let me explain. This heater I put in here like a month ago when I was doing a water change just because I wanted to get the temperature back up pretty fast, but I left it in here. Now, you do not want an aquarium heater that is oversized. If you want it to recover fast, or if you're worried in really cold temperatures it not being able to handle, get 2 smaller ones. Here's the reason, okay? If a big one's thermostat fails where it doesn't shut off, it'll literally bake the entire tank where it kills everything in the tank. I've never had that happen, but I know it's a possibility. It's more likely for the aquarium heater to burn out or the thermostat to break in the off position than anything else. But it is a possibility. Now, if you have 2 smaller ones that are, okay, That one back there, it's rating. It could take care of this entire tank by itself. If I put a second one in there as a backup, in case that one failed, that's an awesome idea. Now, the two together, if they both failed, with the thermostat on, yes, they could bake the tank. But what's the chance of both of them happening with a scenario that is almost non-existent itself? I don't think that would ever happen. Well, that's why you want two small ones. If one of them failed where it just stayed on, it's supposed to not be able to bake the tank if it is rated properly. And the other one, it would just stay off. Alright everyone, look, we're almost filled up to the top, but I'm going to go ahead and shut it off now that we hit 70 degrees. It's 11 p.m. I'm going to go watch the evening news. Then I'm going to come back down here in about an hour, fill it back up, shut the light off. The nocturnal algae eater will come out, clean it up, and we'll see improvements by morning. Alright, we're back 50 minutes later, and we have gone from 70 back up to 72. I don't think that's enough. We'll just fill it up the rest of the way. It's only about an inch left. Alright everyone, we're down here the next day. It's been about 18 hours. This guy last night did a pretty good job. We're back up to 81 degrees in the tank. You see there's still a little bit of algae there, but for the most part got most of it. About an hour ago, he was up here playing in the plants. I think I'm going to leave the platform flooded for about 2 more days. I'll be back here in about 2 days, and we'll drop it back down to the halfway point so the plant doesn't drown. This is a plant, it loves water. Despite being a house plant and it can live in dry conditions and dry soil for such a long time, it flourishes. It won't drown in here for weeks. And parts of it always grow under the water. But if I did leave it flooded, it would eventually start turning brown, but that would take weeks. 2 days, we'll drop it back. Alright everyone, we are back now 3 days later, and what have we discovered? The glass is completely clean, absolutely everywhere. The Pleco is right there up on the platform. This platform had a thick sludge across the entire top of it. Pleco ate all of it. It ate all the debris out of the filters, was able to go up inside there. Now we're going to drop this thing back a bit so the water can start trickling in there again, because right now, as it is, this filter over here is sucking it in and just blowing it straight up because the water's so deep. Once we get it back down, it'll be able to bring it across the trough, and there'll be a good circulation again. And I think this will be a thing we do often, just to clean this aquarium up. Plecos are great for that. They will clean everything. This guy definitely went around in there, probably cleaning off each individual leaf, cleaning the platform. Because when you have an ultraviolet lamp and that trickling water, just like a river, the whole thing just turned to moss or more of a sludge. So we're going to start dropping this water back now. Let's see what we got in here. I'll show you once we drop it back how much it actually cleaned up, but plants are looking really nice. Alright everyone, about 10 minutes later, I just did some aquarium vacuuming. That water will clear back up in just a little bit. We're going to fill it back up a couple inches. That was great. We got a lot of aquarium vacuuming done. Usually you got to rush so you don't use up too much water, but we had all this, then a little bit there, fill it back up with some more fresh water. Now this plant system works awesome because now you see the water flowing through there. These plants absorb so much ammonia and other toxins from the water. Then it comes back down through that little chute right there. And typically in the back here, there is a lot of debris. Now you can see it's right back down to the aluminum. That Pleco ate all the algae, moss, all kinds of stuff growing in there. It'll grow back pretty quickly. The Pleco, it must have gone down inside here. It cleaned the filter cartridges for me. Look at this. They were so filthy. It cleaned them. It's amazing. Give it like an hour, that water will clear back up. Let's turn the water back on and get it back up to where the depth is supposed to be. Right around up to the platform. And we're filled back up where we're supposed to be. Originally, when I built this thing to be a frog tank, this is the level I set so the frog could use these bricks right here to climb right out easily. Never had a problem. Now it's just the Pleco in here. And probably for the same reason that you just saw, I think that's how I'm going to operate this tank from now on. Like once a month, I'll go through that process, fill it up here, wait a little while, fill it up here, leave it a couple days, and use that water to do a nice water change.